The NBA Gambling Podcast on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network is brought to you by Underdog Fantasy. Get up to $1,000 deposit match when you sign up at UnderdogFantasy.com. Promo code NBA SGPN. Yes, sir. We are back with another edition of the NBA Gambling Podcast on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network. No me, no voice, no guy. It's me, really real, Terrell Furman Jr. here at your service. Shout out to OKC. Getting it done. Covered the spread. Nice. I wish they would have got the team total under to go with it. That would have been nice. But you know what? I feel very, very content here. Maybe they gave away game one. We could have gotten this out the way already, but who cares? I feel like I'm in a good spot. Scott, excuse how I'm sitting. We just finished the Mothership Pod with Sean and Ryan. Go check it out if you haven't. After this, listen to us first. And my legs started to fall asleep, so I had to change position and prop my legs up. Scott, Studio Red Show. Scott, what's going on?
Scotty, beat me up.
Surprise.
Yeah, why couldn't Mathurin just hit that last layup on the final possession? I was right there for Thunder 1-10. It looked so good for most of the game, and then unfortunately the Pacers unraveled and they self-destructed, and Thunder won by too much. So, bit of a heartbreaker there. I also like the under in the game. That looked good early too. Then the second half exploded, and that really didn't matter. So, yeah, not fun. Not a fun game for me, but Thunder are now up 3-2. Might be the last NBA game of the season, which is kind of sad to think
that's
about.
crazy.
But I got to play this drop anyway because it did happen.
How about if you sweep it out?
What's the point? I can't do anything right.
You'll do fine.
Hey pal, you just blowing from Stupid Town?
Yeah, on the bright side, I did win the prop we gave out on the Mothership Show because I took McConnell over his points, which got there easily, so it wasn't a total loss. The 1-10 hurt. It was right there. The Thunder dominated most of the game. You look up and Indiana's down 2 again. You don't know how they got there.
At
they're
all.
just hanging around. They're just hanging around, and I'm like, all right, great. Exactly where I want it to be. And then Thunder go on like a 9-0 run in a minute. It's like, all right, this game's just over. And then Mathurin ends up getting his last shot blocked, and they lose by 11. So, yeah, unfortunate, but it is what it is.
Oh, I'm happy. As somebody that had OKC minus at 9.5, very, very happy of the result.
Yeah, we both could have won. That's the problem. In theory.
Yeah, because if it had fell at 10, you would have won. Oh,
yeah,
God.
It wouldn't have fallen at 10 though, because they were down 11. It would have been 9. It wouldn't have fouled, but it's fine. It was plus 160. I still like the shot. It just didn't get there.
Well, no point in waiting till the actual in-game breakdown. Tyrese Halliburton, that lower leg thing that he was dealing with, that I offered my hearts and prayers genuinely to him for, it doesn't look like it progressed well for him at all. They are questioning if he's even going to play here in a do or die game 6 here in Indiana in the NBA Finals.
I have to imagine he's playing, right? Even for Willis Reed 4 minutes, he's probably playing.
Yeah, I think he's playing, but I mean, it feels like that they were already priming the lower leg thing for the entire series, and it just feels like it's going to be like, like Jaylen Brown, where they said, yeah, Jaylen Brown's dealing with something, but he'll get through it, and then the season's over, he needs surgery. Like we already knew. So, I mean, we'll see how he really is. But when I watched the game, Scott, I didn't think that he looked unhealthy. I thought that he just had nowhere to go with the basketball anytime he had the ball.
Yeah, I felt the same way. It felt like even besides the turnovers, just the lack of open looks the Pacers got in the really bad possessions they had, it felt like the entire team was in jail for about 3 quarters, and then they made a bit of a run mainly because McConnell and his energy kind of just ramped up the intensity a bit more. But then OKC adjusted again, and they dominated the fourth quarter, and the game was over. I agree with you, though. Halliburton was passive because he's always passive. I did not think it was injury-related. You can argue that he wasn't moving as great as normal, and he went to the locker room for a bit. I thought he looked okay. It just seemed like the Thunder, I don't want to say solve the Pacer offense, but the Pacers running out of moves. You're looking at Siakam, what a very solid game. Halliburton didn't make a shot. He was 0 for 6 from the floor, I think. Nemhart's done nothing. Turner has not been very good. Neesmith's in foul trouble every game. Shepard's done nothing off the bench. McConnell's been very good. I'll put him on the side. McConnell's been very good. Besides that, what does Indiana have that you feel good about it? A couple of spurts from Obi Toppin?
Yeah.
Is that it?
Yeah.
That's not a Halliburton injury thing. That's a this Thunder defense is crazy type thing.
I think so. And I think we'll talk about it in just a second with Game 6, but where they get offense is probably going to be very unlikely, and that may be the thing that keeps them in the game, but I don't think it's it looks really, really bad, especially this is your guy. This is the guy that everybody's been trying to prop up. And I'm just saying, if Jalen Brunson, Luka, just insert X point guard that people are like, it's questionable if, Tyrese Halliburton's in the atmosphere of these guys. If they had a 0-point game like that, it would have been a lot. Even if they're hurt, it would have been a lot. So
I mean, it's definitely true, but I also have to play devil's advocate a little bit for the actual, I'd say, play style, because we know Brunson and Luka do like to shoot a lot. Halliburton's more along the lines of that Chris Paul tree, where he'd rather get 12 assists a game. He'd rather score less than 20-something points. He wants to get his teammates involved. He wants to get them better looks, and he wants to control the pace of the game. So I'd say Halliburton scoring a complete 0, at least making no shots from the floor, is more understandable than a Luka or a Brunson by comparison. It's still horrific. It's still an all-time bad NBA Finals performance. I'm not going to sweep it under the rug. But I do think comparing Halliburton's passive play style to other shoot-first guards is a bit disingenuous by comparison. It doesn't excuse him entirely for doing nothing in an entire game, but I feel like comparing him to Brunson and Luka, who will try to attempt 25-plus shots per game, is a bit of an unfair comparison.
Let's play a little name game. We got time.
Okay. That's fine.
Let's go Tyrese Halliburton or Kate Cunningham.
On who I prefer as a player?
Yeah. I mean, however you want to define the best guard or however your metric is, who would you prefer, Kate Cunningham or Tyrese Halliburton?
It's such a tricky question because one is a Bickerstaff offense, the other has Rick Carlisle. But if you're asking which player I think is better in terms of talent, I would take Kate. Is that a hot take?
I don't think so. I would take Kate.
Do you think the Pacers, I know it's different based on style, but I think Indiana would, in theory, be a better team with Cade over Halliburton.
Yeah.
Maybe that's a hot take, maybe it's not, but I think Cade's a better player.
Yep. Tyrese Halliburton or Damian Lillard?
I got to go with Halliburton.
Tyrese Halliburton or John Morant?
Halliburton. If we're assuming full health, you could argue Morant, but that's part of the package. I got to go Halliburton.
Okay. Respect. Tyrese Halliburton or De'Aaron Fox?
Halliburton. I'm really not as big of a Fox guy as other people are. I think he's a good player. I just have not seen him do anything in the postseason entire career.
Let's see. Tyrese Halliburton or Jamal Murray?
I'll go Halliburton.
Wow.
I don't feel great about it, but I'll go Halliburton. I'm lower on Murray than most people.
All right. Let's just, I mean, I don't think anybody. So you pretty much cemented him top 5.
I like Halliburton. I think he's a good player. But I'm just saying, I think we all know deep down he's not top 10 in the league. We knew that already. I think he's top 20. Nothing wrong with being top 20.
Oh, okay. Tyrese Halliburton or Kyrie Irving?
I got to go with Halliburton.
Wow. Okay.
I've seen Kyrie as the alpha. it is a really painful experience as the alpha.
So the only point guards that I think you have above him are Luka, SGA, Brunson, Curry.
Are we counting SGA as a point guard?
Yeah, this is what I just pulled up a random
I
list.
threw Cade
SGA
in there. I threw Cade in there too.
Oh yeah, and Cade. Yeah.
And we got
So
Brunson.
this list is crazy. This list actually has Cade all the way down at like 15. That's insane to me. This must be old.
All I know is watching the Pistons try to play offense under Bickerstaff, the same issues we saw with Cleveland a couple years ago against the Knicks. Cade is really, really good.
Yeah.
Cade is really, really good.
I think,
and I love Halliburton as a player, but all around game, I think Cade's a better player.
I think I would take Maxey over Halliburton. Not gonna lie, I would definitely take Ja, but I understood the health argument. Dame is a toss-up. I wouldn't take Fox. I wouldn't.
See, I see people arguing about Kyrie, and I can understand why they'd argue because of the actual resume and because of all that stuff. First of all, we're not talking about Cleveland Kyrie. We're talking about Dallas Kyrie. That's one thing. Second of all, Halliburton was the best player. You can argue maybe Siakam, but I think he is the best player on a finals team. When has Kyrie ever led any of his teams to anything as the main option? He never has. He's an all-time great Robin. He's never done anything as a Batman. That means something to me.
Is Tyrese Halliburton Batman?
I think he has to be. The way that he's talked about by his teammates, it seems like he's the real engine of the team. That's how I look at it. You can argue Siakam does have a ring. I get you might go 1A, 1B. But the way that he's talked about, I mean, Halliburton had a 30-plus point triple-double in a playoff game. I can't ignore that. Yes, I know he had 0 made field goals in Game 5 of the finals. It's really bad. But he also had a couple of insane shots as well. He's having one of the clutchest runs of all time, which is slowly being sabotaged every passing game in the finals. I can't ignore that. I can't call him Robin and he has a game-winning shot in 3 separate series of the playoffs. I can't do that. I got to count him as a Batman. And yes, talent-wise, Kyrie's probably better in terms of overall talent. But I've seen the Kyrie movie. I've seen the experience. I'd rather have Halliburton as the number one option. Because Kyrie as a number one's done nothing his entire career. Results have to matter at some point. And he had some good teams. That Boston team blew up into a million pieces. It didn't work out. Cleveland, he was a mess before Kyrie came back. The Nets, Durant showed up. I've experienced Kyrie as the number one option. It has never worked out. Halliburton at least got to a final. That counts
but you're counting. Yeah, but I don't know. I think there's a bigger argument that Pascal is. I get it. I don't agree. I don't agree.
Would you put Kyrie over Halliburton?
Because I feel like a lot of people like that would be the same thing as Chris Paul, and a lot of people would say that Chris Paul hasn't been the number one option. Like he's been the engine, and he's like, but like number one option. I don't know. I push back on Halliburton versus Kyrie.
Okay, but I'll ask you as a pushback though. When was the last time Kyrie was a number one option? Because he had Luka there in Dallas.
No,
every time he's had a good run, he was the number two option. So it's tricky to kind of narrow down who you think's better.
And so yeah, and I mean like so, but I think Halliburton feels closer to a Kyrie Irving role as a number two option than him being a number one on this team. Okay. It just doesn't feel like he's the alpha number one on this team. It feels like that's reserved for Pascal Siakam. I think I would still go Kyrie. It is. Okay. I will admit, especially with the Kyrie injury, it is it is a lot closer than I would like it to be. But I think I would still go Kyrie.
I think people will blindly say Kyrie because of the highlights and what he's done in the past. But I have to point out, once again, we're looking at Kyrie with the Achilles issue. He's going to be out for a long time. Dame in Portland was better than Halliburton. I put Halliburton above of Dame because I'm talking about 2025, 2026. Kyrie might not be the same guy again.
And that's where I was like, okay, respect. Like he might, the injury might not be good. The injury might not be good.
If we're talking peak both guys, I'm obviously taking Kyrie. We're not talking about peak. We're talking about right now. I can't take Kyrie off a serious leg injury over Halliburton. I can't do it.
I'm interested.
Would you put Fox over him?
No.
Okay, we're on the same page.
Not yet. No. I just
Ja?
it's something about, and I get it, De'Aaron Fox is just as clutch, maybe even more clutch. But like, dog, you've been I know winning shouldn't really count if your team sucks, but like you were with Sacramento for a long time and they were horrible. They
Do
had
you have Ja over him?
yeah, I do.
The injury part is such an important wrinkle that I have to mention with a couple of names on that list.
No, yeah. But if you told me I get an 82 game season,
Oh,
yes.
82 game season Ja is like a
I
top
mean,
10 player
honestly,
in the
you could
league.
tell me
Like,
you could give me just the minimum 65 with John, and I'd take it.
forget the 65. You give me a full Ja healthy for the playoffs, I would take Ja, but that's not going to happen. I got to deal with reality. But yeah, once again, to people in the comment section who think Kyrie's obviously better, I'm talking post series leg injury right now in 2025. I'd rather have Halliburton, which should not be a hot take.
And that's just Scott saying, yeah, before he sees the injury, he
Yeah,
prefers Halliburton. And me, I'll wait till afterwards. But right now, I'm gonna give it to Kai still.
Pete Kyrie is one of the most talented point guards I've ever seen play the sport. Like, it's not a fair comparison.
All right, college football team previews are back on the College Experience. Moneyline Matt, Kobe Dant, getting it done. Go check it out. Every single FBS college football team. You're not going to want to miss it. We've also got the Circle Ultimate Fantasy Football giveaway going on. You can win a limo ride from the airport, a $5,000 tab for a stadium swim, and a hotel stay for you and your 11 league mates at the awesome Circa Resort and Casino in Las Vegas. You'll also be able to draft your 12-team league there. So make sure you get in on that action. SportsGamblingPodcast.com/Circa. You can also get 15% off all Circa properties with promo code SGPN15. That's SportsGamblingPodcast.com/CIRCA. We're also brought to you by MyBookie.ag, your place to bet every single sport, including the NBA Finals. They accept customers from a ton of different locations, easy deposit, and get lightning fast payouts using cryptocurrency. So go over there and lock in with MyBookie.ag, promo code SGPN for 100% deposit match up to $1,000. All right, let's actually talk about the game that's being played here, Scott. Oklahoma City Thunder on the road going to talk. Ugh. Oklahoma City on the road going to play the Indiana Pacers. OKC's up 3-2. They have a chance to win the NBA championship with this game. This is potentially our last game breakdown of the season. OKC's laying 6.5. 222.5 is the total. Again, question marks on Tyrese Halliburton here. I have a thought, and I have already played a game script in my mind here, Scott, where Indiana actually does get up for the nobody believes in us game.
Okay.
Maybe Indiana has a 3-point lead at half. I think that this could be they're hanging around, and it's going to be because they're just unconscious from the 3-point line. It feels like so many times I can look at this team and see a shot that has no business going in from beyond the arc, and it just does, especially from the corner. The corner is where OKC has struggled with this team. They haven't rotated over and they've allowed them to get off a lot of corner threes. And so I would not be surprised if Neesmith had a game from three, if Obi Toppin was randomly hitting a bunch of threes again, and we just continue to get threes barrage as they just continue to move the ball. I mean, at the very least, Rick Carlisle does coach up an offense. So I wouldn't be surprised if it's a bunch of threes here and they keep this game close. But ultimately, it's the last game of potentially what I would have as the last game of the finals here. I think that they're going to try to extend it any way they can. And when OKC gets into the money time and SGA is able to get to his spot because Neesmith can't guard him and Nimhart can't guard him, and he shoots over him and it goes in this time, I think that the free throws that the fouls that they commit are going to continue to happen over the last 30 minutes as they try to extend this season. And so I'm kind of nervous about it at 6.5. I'm not gonna lie, but I'm gonna still lay the number with OKC here. I think OKC is gonna get it done, but I do think it's gonna be an actually competitive game and a game to watch, and not one where OKC just runs them out the building.
Yeah, I think one of the most concerning things for Indiana, which was not really talked about a lot in the middle of Game 5, but I noticed it, they switched up SGA substitution pattern, where they sat him in the first quarter and the second quarter, and you barely even notice because the Thunder just maintained their lead.
Mm-hmm.
That can't happen if you're the Pacers. If Shea's on the bench, it's got to be like LeBron or Joker's on the bench. You got to outscore him by 5 in like a minute and a half. You got to immediately jump him. And they can't do it. It feels like the Thunder with J-Dub getting downhill every time. They can't stay in front of them. With Indiana's defense kind of falling apart at the seams at this point, it just feels like the Thunder's shots on a regular basis are so much easier than Indiana's. You could argue that it's the isolation game, the free throws, and how often Indiana fouls. Different reasons involved, but it feels like the shot quality for OKC is significantly higher as the games keep going along.
Mm-hmm.
And Indiana, with Halliburton being injured now, you could argue the explosiveness might not be the same. Not to mention the fact he had 0 shots on the floor. I just have too many questions on where they're going to be getting good looks. Yes, you mentioned a couple of guys from the corner can get hot. Maybe Nesmith has a random 5 3-pointer game. Nembhard, it's a step back or something like that. But when it comes to sustainable offense, Indiana's shots just feel so much more difficult, and every trip feels so much harder because of the turnover element too. Because OKC's forcing so many turnovers per game, it just feels like OKC is getting more out of every possession. And I have a hard time trusting a team with arguably its best player now injured, dealing with this elite defense when the offense looks like it's in quicksand half the time. And OKC has found ways to break open this defense and to get not just their MVP good looks, but their second best guy good looks, good enough to get 40 points on what felt like a bunch of uncontested layups. A lot of J-Dub's shots felt wide open around the paint, the transition opportunities, the free throw line. Indiana fouls so much. Besides the Shea foul baiting stuff, which people can argue, Indiana's allowing the most free throws per game out of any team in the entire postseason. They can't defend without fouling. It's why Nesmith has 3 fouls in the first half every game, because he just can't stay in front of Shea. They are picking on Nesmith. They stopped going after Nembhard, and it's been working. But I'm going to ask you if you're the Pacers, because assuming that Halliburton might play less minutes or he's compromised, you have to rely on TJ, who might carry you for a quarter. Maybe that's it. What else do you have besides hoping that either a random guy gets hot or Siakam gives you 30 or 35? You don't have many options besides that. Do you? Because I don't really see much.
You just hope that it's a team oriented win. That's all you really got. Like, hey, everybody contributes. You got a bunch of players that are in double figures, and you hope that you're able to play some type of muster up some type of defense against OKC. It's a tall task. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, but I'm just trying to think of Indiana's defense and what they've been trying to do. They've been picking on Nesmith. They discovered that in Game 4. They kept doing Jalen pick and rolls with Shea to get the switch they wanted to avoid Nembhard, and they've just been destroying Nesmith on every possession. And Turner still doesn't rebound at all. You're looking at Chet, who was really bad in Game 5. Nobody cared because he still was good on the boards, and Jalen Williams had 40 points. But it just feels like when both teams needed their star players to show up and take a stranglehold on this series, injury or not, Indiana's stars kind of just fell apart, or mainly one star fell apart. SGA and J-Dub, especially J-Dub, have risen to the occasion more than anybody could have expected, and they have been easily the best 2 players of this series. It is very tough to win a series when the other team has the 2 best players and arguably 3 of the best 4 players in the series, if you want to include Chet. You can make a serious argument that OKC just has too much talent for this Indiana team to handle, and it feels like that's what we're getting every game. Now the Thunder take a nap for about 5 minutes each game, which is why the Pacers make games competitive out of nowhere. But it feels like the Thunder, I don't know if solves the right word, but they are getting a lot better looks consistently than Indiana. And I feel like that's something I can't keep overlooking. Because Indiana fouls so often that the Thunder manufacture so many extra points from the free throw line. And the Pacers can't make that up.
Yeah. I don't know what they're supposed to do. I really don't.
I'm trying to think of the counters. You need a healthy Halliburton to have any chance. I love TJ McConnell. There's a reason why we like him as a sixth man, TJ McConnell. It's because as a starter, his lack of shooting from the outside can hurt you in some areas when it comes to spacing. They got serious problems. This game could get really ugly, and it wouldn't surprise me.
I still think that Indiana keeps it close. I like
Oh no, I
OKC 1 to
agree.
10, 1 to 10 plus 155. I think that's a
Just
good
to be
one.
clear, I agree. I think they keep the game close, but I'm saying if there's a script out here where Halliburton's half dead, he's moving around on one leg, you could tell that he's a decoy because he can't really do anything, but you need him on the court.
Mm-hmm.
They don't have enough to get by if Halliburton's not at 100%. And I could see a world where the turnovers once again rack up, the Thunder get into transition, Caruso and Dort are hounding everybody,
Mm-hmm.
and Indiana's offense dries up. I can just see that happening. The OKC Thunder go from up 5 at halftime to being up 20 in the next 7 minutes. I can see that avalanche run, which we've talked about for the entire season, where there's one quarter where the Thunder decide to end your hopes and dreams. I can see that happening again here in Game 6. We saw it in Game 5. I think it might happen again. Pacers can keep this game close, but eventually that switch gets flipped, and it's a 15-point game.
Mm-hmm.
And I just don't see the Pacers coming back.
We don't know who the refs are yet. Time of recording. If it is a Scott Foster sighting, it makes me feel better about OKC because Scott Foster has not been doing his job as the extender all playoffs long. He has been actually horrible. And so I'm completely out on Scott Foster doing any extending. If Scott Foster is the ref, I am even more cementing my stance on OKC getting this done. 222.5 is total.
I'm so mad the under last game lost. It was looking so good for so long, and then the game died immediately in the first 3 minutes of the fourth quarter. But
I don't know. I'll wait to see. I probably would end up playing it the same way that I don't know. I can't trust Indiana to really score, honestly. I mean maybe I have no thoughts on the total. I have no thoughts on the total. I need to see what happens with Halliburton, then I'll be able to come up to some type of thought on it, but nothing on the total.
so, do you change your stance on the Thunder at all? Because they technically covered a road spread in the last road game. Or are you still anti because they've been really bad ATS?
No, I still like Thunder. I think the Halliburton injury just there could be a laydown, and I will admit it. There could be a laydown here. And that's the only reason why I didn't, because I told you, I still think 1 to 10 is a pretty good margin, but I was 50-50 on the spread. I sold myself on OKC when we were talking because there was a laydown that could happen where OKC could run away with this, but I don't think there's a world of possibility where the Pacers are able to flip a switch and actually win this game outright.
I just feel like no matter what you think about Halliburton, no matter if you think that it's a 1A, 1B with Siakam, the entire offense does flow through him, whether he's shooting or not, just him organizing everybody, controlling the pace, trying to run tempo. We know Indiana in the half court's been a mess in the series for a decent portion. They need to run. If your starting point guard is a messed up leg and your best source of offense is transition, you have a ton of problems. I just don't see an answer to that.
Let's see what TJ does. I mean, I'm sure they're going to key in on him. He's probably not going to give him the scoring, but we'll see. He probably give him that energy that they're looking for. And
Do you think Carlisle actually pulls the plug on Halliburton, though? If Halliburton is at, let's say, 50%, maybe it's higher. He's at 70% with the painkillers. And maybe you can argue they'd be better off with Halliburton on
play him
the
and
bench.
see. Play him and see.
That's my point. I think Carlisle might go down with his guys. And I can see Halliburton playing a decent amount of poor basketball because he's one of the guys that got them there. And I'm not sure Carlisle would be the coach that would rip the cord and tell Halliburton take a seat. I don't know if he would be the guy that would do that.
All right.
That's a problem.
Underdog Fantasy. 90% bonus. If we get to game 7, it will be 100% bonus, but I don't know if we're gonna be able to get that. But 90% bonus for this game 6 here. We'll talk about an underdog lineup at the end of the show here. But hey, go sign up right now. NBA SGPN. Claim your special pick and first sign deposit offer up to 1,000 in bonus credits. UnderdogFantasy.com. Promo code NBA SGPN. We're also brought to you by Rhythm. AI detected patterns or rhythms model consistently one and high ROI. Power trends are updated daily and exclusive to Rhythm. No touts, no noise, just clean data back bets. Download the Rhythm app, check out Power Trends, and start betting smarter. Get your 7-day free trial over there at sportsgamblingpodcast.com/rhythm. That's sportsgamblingpodcast.com/RITHMM. Yeah, the Don, I agree. TJ McConnell, his energy, he'll gas out. Like it's a reason that he's at 10 to 15 minutes. It's because he's when you watch him on the court, he's like a little hamster on a wheel, just everywhere. I think he will gas out. That's why I didn't play TJ with the what's it at 14.5 here on the PA. I won't put his under in the props that we're about to talk about right now, Scott, but I didn't play him. I only like TJ McConnell when that line is at 10.5. I don't like it when it's at 14.5. And again, I like him in short stints. The extended minutes is where his energy just starts to lack at the end and he starts to die out. And when I've chased TJ McConnell in the starting lineup, it hasn't been good. I've only been good with TJ McConnell when he's coming off the bench. So I didn't go with TJ McConnell as one of my props here, Scott. I do still like Pascal Siakam, though. Give me some Pascal Siakam over 28.5 points and rebounds.
Yeah, I think at the end of the day, you're looking at a spot where Siakam's been one of the more trustworthy guys, one of the more consistent guys in this game. There is one option I do like for McConnell, and I am going to go with the steals. It's at 1.5, plus 180. Plus
Okay.
280. Plus 280. He's had 2+ steals in 3 of the last 4 games. 280.
Yeah.
Even a bump in minutes. It's fine if his offense falls apart. He's still going to be full court pressing everybody. Give me the steals.
All right. I think I've come to a stance on SGA.
No, did you finish the read yet, or this is mid-read?
No, this I finished. I did Rhythm.
Okay, I wasn't sure. Okay, cool.
I think I've come to a stance in SGA. He needs one more big game. And shout out to Ryan for letting me know that he's 30-point game away from tying MJ, and I think he said somebody else for most 30-point games in a single playoffs.
It feels so easy. You're looking at Shea. Maybe that's why J-Dub got some hype for Finals MVP. It's like, oh, he dropped 40. So if you just not notice what Shea's been doing this entire series, guy's walking into like 34 every game. It just feels so easy for him.
And so I get it's a large number, but like I don't know. I just feel like I feel like now Shea's about to drop a 40 in a closeout game. Would you be surprised if he had some type of like Giannis? Remember when Giannis in that closeout? I know that was at home, but remember Giannis in that closeout game 6 and he had 50? Like
50.
I wouldn't be surprised if SGA did something like that.
The point that would go in favor of Shea having the 40+ point game is that after J-Dub went crazy for the last couple of games or the last game and a half, does Indiana now overcorrect to J-Dub, and now Shea gets all the matchups he wants, and Shea goes crazy? Because right now, the one thing I've noticed from the switching that they've been doing, they switch everybody at this point.
Mm-hmm.
The Pacers can't guard either of these guys.
Oh, so your boy Neesmith? Oh, he's had a long series.
He's gotten his ass kicked.
There's a point in time where SGA and J-Dub literally would bring the ball up the court, take turns, and then both of them would get the switch. And it's like, all right, who's got Neesmith? Oh, you got him? All right, ball over to you. You go at him.
They are killing Neesmith on every trip. And they've been doing some pick and rolls with each other just to get Neesmith on one of the other guys.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. They're running whoever offense at this point, whether it's Siakam, whether it's Toppin, whether it's even Turner occasionally. You can get TJ if you want to go for a bit of a height advantage. Indiana's either got to stop switching everything or start hedging some screens or icing some screens, because right now, Neesmith, it's not working. It's not working. It's been really bad. I'd go with Halliburton half the time now. He's injured. Go with Halliburton if you want to.
Yeah. All right. I do like Neesmith threes, though.
I kind of like his rebounds. At least he's trying to rebound the ball.
I mean, he's got to do something. He's getting killed off defensively. Oh man, I mean, I mean, yeah, he was a lot better when the opposing player was like 5'11".
For
Now,
the record, I still like Neesmith, but in this matchup against J-Dub and Shea, he is having a really, really hard time.
and it's so noticeable, man. His body
Yeah.
language is like everything. Yeah,
Every possession they're going at him, and he's in foul trouble in every game.
I'm locked in on the big SGA game here to close out. What else you got? Anything else here, Scott?
Do I want to go for... I'll actually mention one other play in passing. Give me Caruso under 2.5 assists. He's actually been doing pretty well with the under. So far in the games in the series, he's gone under this number in 4 of the first 5. He had 2 in the last game. One was an inbound pass, which was just a free layup backdoor for J-Dub. So in actual basketball, he had 1 assist on a fast break layup to J-Dub. That was it. They're isolating with Shea and J-Dub every possession. He's standing in the corner half the time. He either gets an open 3 or a backdoor cut. The assists have just not been there for Caruso. Give me the under 2.5 assists at -130.
All right. Lock. Dog. Underdog. Lock. SGA over 34.5 points.
Okay.
I could regret that. Dog. I don't know, man. I just think it's too easy for OKC to just go out here and destroy them again. And Indiana just randomly finds themselves in situations. Give me OKC 1-10 +155.
Okay. For my lock here, I might actually save that. I could save that for my... it's 135. Oh, that's so close. What a bummer. Okay. For my lock, I will go to the... I'll just take the Thunder. I'll take a minus the points. I wanted to make an argument for something a bit more creative, but with Halliburton being injured, I get it's us against the world. That only works for so long. It's not the same thing as the Denver series, because that did go 7, and the entire Nuggets team died. But Aaron Gordon got hurt, and at that point, you're like, do they have enough bodies to even compete in this game? And OKC just buried them. I don't think the Pacers have the horses to hang with the Thunder offensively. Defensively, they're going to be doing whatever they can to frustrate Halliburton, playing or not. TJ will be fine, but as you said before, there's only so much his motor can give you based on minutes. They got problems. I think it's over. Give me the Thunder minus the... What do you say it was, 6.5 now, or is it still 5.5?
6.5.
I'll go 6.5 as my lock on that one. For the dog, it was either going to be McConnell steals, or I was going to go with Chet double-double. Will you let me get away with +135, or is it +140?
I'll give you 35.
Okay.
You
Thank
tried.
you. Yeah, I tried.
Or you could put a win. I mean, you could attach the win to it.
Yeah. I mean, he only had 9 points in the last game, but he took 15 shots. Yeah, Chet was 4 of 15, and nobody talked about it, which is kind of funny. But Chet double-doubles +135. He has had double-digit rebounds in 3 straight games. Turner's not going to rebound. He has a size advantage on Toppin. Hartenstein has really not been very good in this series. Whether Chet makes shots or not, he gets a ton of playing time. Good enough for me. Give me Chet double-double at +135 as my dog.
All right. Underdog. 90% bonus. Thank you. Let's see here. I spy with my little eye. We can run back SGA. We can Pascal. I like Pascal play.
I mean, I'm in for SGA just to have the MVP stamp performance.
Higher, 33.5.
Do you want to throw an assist in there or just points?
We can throw an assist. I'm fine with it. Give me something different to bet. Or in wager.
The same thing. Who cares? It's fine. Who cares? Whatever.
Let's see. Points and assists. Wait, hold on. Never mind. 40.5 points and assists.
Sure.
Might have 40 points here. Let's see. Who else do we want on the radar?
I mean, did you want to go Chet rebounds because he has been good lately, or no, because you don't trust Chet at all?
No, I like Chet.
If there's one thing he's going to do, it's rebound. So that
9.5.
Yeah. He's gone over in 3 straight. So.
And then we can go. Yeah. I mean, so do they keep? They don't. There's no option to stop Pascal. How do you stop Pascal? You just hope that they choose not to go to him. Yeah, let's just
Either
go.
that or Siakam is a bit too passive and he takes himself out of the game for a quarter.
I'll take my chances. I like Pascal higher, 21.5 points.
Yeah, I think it's too low of a number.
All right, there we go. Pascal higher, 21.5 points. Chet Holmgren higher, 9.5 rebounds. And SGA higher, 40.5 points and assists. 6.6x, Scott. $100 get you $600 over there. Underdog Fantasy. And with that, NBA SGPN, by the way, make sure you use that code, NBA SGPN. Use that code to go get that. All right. Scott, anything else for people before we get up out of here?
No. This might be the final game preview of the season. So a reminder, we still got basketball going on.
Yep.
We still have the W.
Yep.
So check out the WNBA Gambling Podcast. We probably will do an episode after the finals, just recapping it and maybe doing some early look stuff for the title odds next year. And maybe a couple of either a draft episode or some free agency stuff or some big trades, etc. But yeah, it's been a fun season. So we'll see if it ends officially on Thursday. And if not, we're back for Game 7.
Hopefully not. I don't have the energy for a Game 7 here in this series anymore. Let's just go ahead and give SGA his trophy.
It's fine. I'll do the show with Lonte. It's fine.
With that, he's at Reichel Radio. I'm at @reallyreal__. Make sure you give us a follow on X. And Scott, we gotta have a better day of the W. It's a little bit of a rough one here.
So I saw a bunch of people sending screenshots though of underdog entries that they won with some of their plays. So
shout out to them. With that, nothing else to say, nothing else to do. No other way of ending podcast. Just gonna end like this. We